All right, we have more changes unfolding in U.S. politics and in the U.S. legal system. Changes that have, for the first time in American history, a former U.S. president being convicted of a federal crime. Convicted on all counts, not one charge, 34 freaking charges. And for what? Misallocating 130 grand from a decade ago? It's so absurd, it's got the Dems flopping around like fish out of water, trying to figure out what to do with this, openly considering not even mentioning the conviction, staying clear of it, because they know people are mad, voters are mad. Well, their handler-in-chief just gave them direction. And no, I don't mean the president. The newest member of the WEF went out yesterday in public after meeting with the White House to tell Democrats what they're supposed to do next. Wait till you see this. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel. And consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. So let me just say, what we saw play out in Manhattan last week should scare all of us. Regardless of political affiliation, these people are out of their freaking minds. The judge effectively waiving the need for a unanimous verdict. Something that is set in stone in this country, in the U.S. legal system. The jury must come to a unanimous verdict for guilt in a criminal case. It's a requirement for a reason. A single juror can make it a hung jury. With a hung jury, then the accused is immediately exonerated or let go. That's why during jury deliberations, if one juror is a holdout, they could spend hours, sometimes days, trying to convince that one juror. Well, not here, not in this case. Even CNN's chief legal analyst was flabbergasted about this. There's so much wrong with what happened last week. It's staggering, but what's important now is going forward. What happens next? We just spent the last 3.5 years watching as our government, the Biden administration, the White House, Biden's DOJ, his Attorney General, the FBI, these far-left prosecutors did whatever they could to criminally prosecute this man. Multiple different cases, but none were successful. This is the first time they got what they wanted. Think about that. 3.5 years of this. And a few days ago, for the first time, these people got their wish, a criminal conviction of Donald Trump. They've been moving heaven and earth to get this done, twisting our legal system in knots, shredding our Constitution in the process. So now that they got the conviction, what comes next? What's the plan? So to the run-up to this verdict being read, during this trial, Alex Soros, son of Uber billionaire and political activist George Soros, this guy was recently handed the keys to the kingdom, taking over for his father as the chairman of the Open Society Foundations. That's like the entity that they use to funnel money to all these activist groups. So again, why to the run-up of the verdict being read did he visit the White House and Oval Office 14 times? Meeting with top brass in Joe's cabinet. You can see the pictures for yourself. They don't even try to hide this anymore. It's all out in the open. Well, after all the confusion the last few days over the right way to handle this conviction, politically speaking, Dems being split on either hammering down about the conviction or just staying clear of it, Alex Soros cleared the air for everyone, writing this on X 3 days ago, quote, Democrats should refer to Trump as a convicted felon at every opportunity. Repetition is the key to a successful message, and we want people to wrestle with the notion of hiring a convicted felon for the most important job in the country, unquote. So, political marketing, that's why they did all this? Yeah, I don't think so. It's part of the reason, but they are, in fact, listening to him. Not even 30 seconds after that jury read the guilty verdict, the most insidious political action committee probably ever, the Lincoln Project, released this ad all over the airwaves. And I only play this just so you know what Trump's up against. Watch this.
Donald Trump found guilty on all 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree.
You're a criminal, Donald. That's what the jury said. Not the deep state. Not the Democrats. Not the Biden administration. A jury. Regular people who saw the evidence and felt sick. You're a criminal. And you did it to yourself.
Nobody's ever seen anything like this. It's a shame.
Your defense was weak because you're weak. They had no argument because there is no argument. You were too scared to testify because you knew Donald. You know. You're guilty. Guilty as sin. Guilty as charged.
So that phrase, convicted felon, get ready, folks, because we're going to be hearing that for the next 6 months. Check this out. Bloomberg did an analysis of this, looking at all the media since the verdict was read, comparing the difference between how often Bidenomics was said on TV versus the phrase convicted felon. Look at that. And I could already picture it, right? Imagine Trump winning in November on election night, CNN calling the election for Trump and saying, CNN can now project that Donald Trump, a convicted felon, wins the presidency. And look, in corrupt countries, this is the kind of thing you see regularly. Once elected, you do whatever the hell you have to hold on to power, often resorting to extreme measures, but first and foremost, silence the opposition. Whether through imprisonment or some other means, using the legal system to throw your political opponents in jail, that's like standard operating procedure over there. And if you doubt that's what's happening here, explain this response from the president yesterday. A picture's worth 1,000 words, folks. Watch this.
Mr. President, can you tell us, sir, Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir? Do you think the conviction will have an impact on the campaign? We'd love to hear your thoughts, sir.
This is a somber moment. I mean, our former president was just convicted, and our current president gives that creepy smirk. So look, Russia is a glaring example of this, where dissent is ruthlessly suppressed using the guise of legal proceedings. Numerous opposition figures have been jailed in the last decade over there, including Alexei Navalny, who the media always talks about, just recently died in prison. You see the same thing in Brazil right now, the political arena down there. It's a battleground for power and control. China, even more extreme version of this. Nobody even dares try a power grab there anymore. And you have similar situations in other countries, Turkey, Venezuela, and now the United States, once regarded as a beacon of democracy. They're following their playbook to the letter, folks. Joe Biden using the justice system to literally prosecute his leading political opponent and then smirk about it. The judge issuing gag orders, multiple gag orders to prevent him from speaking. Here's what Elon Musk said about this, about the danger of allowing political motives to dictate legal outcomes. He writes this, quote, "Indeed, great damage was done today to the public's faith in the American legal system. If a former president can be criminally convicted over such a trivial matter motivated by politics rather than justice, then anyone is at risk of a similar fate," unquote. Americans know this is all a sham. Plus, Americans like the underdog. And following the verdict, Trump's poll numbers are up big. He's mopping the floor with Biden right now, with both independent voters and black voters. If you look and compare the ratio from this election to last election, just watch this clip from yesterday. Trump receiving one hell of a standing ovation 3 days after being convicted. Look at this. This is why they're so scared of him. The normal dirty tricks that would normally take down any other politician don't work on him. They make him stronger. Which you got to wonder, after 3.5 years of moving heaven and earth to convict him, thinking it would hurt his election chances, it turns out to be helping him. What are they going to do with that? If they would do all of this, I mean, what else are they capable of? It's a frightening thought to me. All right, that wraps up the news portion of this video. Now I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Hertz Energy. You can see their ticker symbol on your screen. They're an early stage lithium and uranium mining company, but they have something special, a very unique growth engine, folks, something that I've never seen any of the others have that I've personally come across, something that they're exclusively working on with Penn State right now, that they have worldwide distribution rights to. I've never seen anything like this for such a young company in this space, folks. But first, I'm just going to add some context so we're all on the same page. All right, in the U.S. right now, there's only one active lithium mine. That's it. America imports almost all of its lithium from the Lithium Triangle, the Solars region, and sourcing your lithium from that part of the world, who knows, right? The West is always looking to onshore its national security priorities. If you can't rely on it, you onshore. That's the motto. And they began doing exactly that to the north in Canada in the last 2 years. They found a very rich sediment, a lithium spodumene. That region, the area is called James Bay, located in Quebec. Last summer, there were major forest fires there, halting drilling on the majority of the area. So for the first time, this company, Hertz Energy, a company I'm telling you about, will start drilling there for the first time. This is a big deal. Other lithium companies located in James Bay have scored huge. We're talking billion-dollar discoveries. And Hertz Energy's lithium land package is located in the heart of the James Bay region, next to these other massive discoveries. The area all shares similar geology. And realize, it's almost impossible to find land up there today. It's all been scooped up already. Hertz Energy just happened to be there early, acquiring these properties before the huge land rush happened a few years ago. And they have incredible district scale properties, folks. These are huge properties, massive. Two projects are called ACDC. The other one's called Snake. You could see them here. They're about to begin exploration on both in the next month. This is all happening right now. And you know how this industry works, right? You want to get involved, or if you're involved, before they announce drilling results. If the results turn out to be positive, markets usually run with it. So that's the lithium side of their business. Now, on top of that, about a month ago, they acquired a second growth engine. They acquired the Cominco uranium project in the Nunavut region of Canada along the Bathurst Inlet. Beautiful area, rough country. But what's unique about it is back in the 70s, before the massive bear market started for uranium after that 3 Mile Island incident, Cominco, largest uranium company in the world, got excited about this. They drilled it, found impressive results, then they sold it to another massive company who unfortunately let it sit there for 50 years. But fast forward, Hertz just recently bought it, along with all the drilling data from the 70s, which should speed up the exploration phase of the project. The business plan is to take modern technology that's never been used on it, using the data they now have, and drill. So they have two sides to their business, two irons in the fire. Just one needs to take off, in my opinion. But that's not it. The reason this company caught my eye in the first place is because of this guy, Cal Malhi. He's the CEO. This guy's got a very interesting backstory. So Cal was a police officer, retired almost 2 decades ago, done some impressive work since then, got into venture capital in 06-07 period, started his own VC firm called Bull Run Capital, raised hundreds of millions for startup companies. And his niche, the reason he was so successful in the space when so many others were failing during that period, was his business model. What Cal would do is he would identify universities that are developing a new technology. He'd swoop in and he'd acquire the rights to those pre-market technologies. The first time he did this was with a weapons detection application, and the stock surged from 7 cents a share to $4 a share. And now with Hertz Energy, the company we're talking about, he did it again. He secured the worldwide distribution rights for a patent-pending innovative extraction technology for hard rock lithium. This technology was being developed at Penn State. He found out what they were working on, and he was able to swoop in and acquire the rights to it. The idea here is to dramatically reduce the costs of extracting lithium from the rock. And the price of this company, in my opinion, is freaking cheap right now. Their market cap's only around $9 million. It's early stage. And I believe the entire lithium market, by the way, in my opinion, is trading for a huge discount right now, about 80% below its market peak. So I'll leave you with this. I'll put a link to Hertz Energy's website in the description of the video. Always make sure to do your own due diligence. The company's public, so all this info is, fully available to you. I'm only giving you some of the information about the company, the region, their technology. All right, that wraps up this video. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.